Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Episode 69 coming at you tonight. That's right, the big energy right here at Chance's Used Auto Parts, Studio 02, downtown Rouserville. It's elbows up style. I told you we were bringing you a big show, and I'll be damned, I'm going to deliver. That's exactly right. I hope you're tuned in tonight for this episode. We got a lot to talk about, a lot of things to go over. So anyways, as I always say, I'm going to head back here to where I perch at. You know what I mean? We'll get this show started. A lot of good stuff. That's it. You hear that? Thank you. I appreciate that. That's good stuff right there. Got the applause going on. What a full-filled house. You betcha. Welcome. Welcome. Once again, Chance's Used Auto Parts, Studio 02. We're here in downtown East Side Rouserville. It's elbows up time in the house of dirt, my friends. That's right. It's what you've been waiting for tonight. We're on the air. Man, a lot going on. A lot to talk. Let me get my glasses on here. Fred, I got to get this thing set up. Is everything working up there? Okay. Let me get this thing in here. There we go. This thing's, I don't know. Working. Huh? You like that? You don't have to hold it now. You know what I mean? It makes it easier. You get older, you wake up. Anyways, okay. First and foremost, Mark, the Shark, is not with us this weekend. That's right. Or week. Mark the Shark, as you know, is a llama farmer. And Mark the Shark, my friends, is at a huge llama ranch buying llamas, okay? And he'll be back with a truckload of llamas, I think, next Sunday. So the weekly bite, as we always have, we'll miss that tonight because Mark's buying llamas. But, hey, it is what it is. Everybody has their things they like to do. So, anyways, moving forth. Let's look at these sponsors. That's right. It's what makes this all possible. We're going to run down through them here. Piper's Complete Lawn Care Services, Mercersburg, Pennsylvania. Mow, trim, landscape, yard cleanup. Give the Pipers a call. Amsoil, Aaron Miller, oils, lubes, and greases. He'll get you fixed up for sure. Bob Dunn Racing Products. Facebook, Catchy Mare, BDR Racing Products. He's at Path Valley. He's at Ceilings Grove. Stock car, drag, street rod, tires, fuel, you name it. He'll get you fixed up, okay? Dan's Auto Repair, downtown East Side, Rouserville, full service garage inspections, tire rotations, oil changes, complete over, what was I going to say, Fred? Overhauls, that's it. Overhauls, right, right. Yeah, that's that, there you go, Fred. You helped me out. I appreciate that. You see Chad down there, he'll take care of you. G-Money Transport out of Tawnytown, Maryland, up and down the highway, moving freight all day long. Chaz has used auto parts and towing. Like I said, sponsor Studio 2. 30 years in the business, Tawnytown, Maryland, all types of used auto parts. If Chaz don't have it, you don't need it. Okay? We'll just keep her like that. Okay? Towing services, the whole 9 yards. TB's Body Shop in Shippensburg, PA. He always does a lot for the Thunder cars there at Path Valley. That's right. And, man, quality body work, been in the business 35 years. Tim Burkholder, hell of a nice fella, does great work. Freeze Motorsports, Freeze and Company, East Coast Legends, that's right. All your Legends car needs, official Onyx dealer in Pennsylvania, find him on Facebook, okay? Great ethics, leadership's the Class Act group. We do commercials there, don't we, Fred? Yep, every 2 times a month. Yep, that's right. We do commercials there. Dillman's Hauling, dump trucks out of New Bloomfield, Pennsylvania. They're moving the freight, or the aggregate, I guess you'd say. They haul all sorts of stuff, though. Yeah, they're a pretty good outsize outfit. Jones Custom Detailing, that's right, located in Chambersburg. Vehicle cleaning packages, superb detailing inside and out. Find him on Facebook. He also wheels the number 5 East Coast Legend. Lynn Bowie, give old Lynn a call. Give me a call. I'll get you to Lynn. He's selling you racing alcohol, best price you can get. Quality, good racing alcohol. Freeze Power Washing, that's right. Cleaning her all up everywhere around, doing the power washing thing, getting her done. Okay, you won't find a better power wash, you give Freeze a call. Midway Seal Coating, how about that? The slankers, right? They're laying the old asphalt sealer and patch and all that good stuff. God bless them, because it's been hot, okay? And they're out there getting her done. D&D Auto Recycling, Williamsport, Maryland. Go see Dougie. He'll fix you up. I guarantee he'll teach you a little bit about life, and he'll also get you a used part, okay, or what you need. Geared Up Firearms, sales, training, cleaning, Westminster, Maryland. They've been doing this a couple of years now. They do a lot of classes, Fred. You know what I mean? A lot of classes to handle firearms in Maryland. Okay? Yeah. Quick Lubes are us. Can't forget about Wiley. They'll get the oil change, PA inspection, minor vehicle repair. They got a car wash, a pet wash. Hell, they'll wash anything you want. Okay? They got it all out there. I gotta get a drink. Tell you, Fred's everybody good up there? Well, it's so freaking hot, man. Everywhere. I mean, I got the air one in here, but it's crazy. It's crazy summer. You know what I'm saying? It's like we live in a jungle. It's crazy. It rains, it thunderstorms every night. It blows you away. There's bugs everywhere. I mean, snakes. It's out of control. T.A. Ward Construction. Home remodel and 40-plus years service. Navy vet sponsors the 270 micro class at Path Valley. Big race for him this weekend. T.A.'s, geez, Pete, now I'm going to forget my mind. We'll get back to it here. T.A. Ward, baby. He's given the $2,000 to win. $2,000 to win for 270s this Friday, okay? You can't beat that. That's a big race. That's a big race. He also does a lot of renovations up at the racetrack on the bleachers and things like that. Riding for suicide awareness, Richie Dobson. He's running a little bit of the Legends cars. He's the director of the East Coast Legends series, okay? Suicide prevention line, text 988. Everyone's life's important. It's only a phone call away or a text. Okay, Richie goes above and beyond what he does, and he's had some bad experiences, and he's moved forth in life, and he's preaching and helping other people. So hey, I give it up for Richie. There you go. Chaz's Logistics, up and down the highway in them semis, baby. You know what I'm saying? Formerly Chaz. Well, this was the old one. Remember, I didn't take this one out. Scrap Daddy, as I like to call him. He's a trucking, and he likes it. Okay, he's up and down the road, getting her done. Ashley Yoder Designs, ladies and gentlemen, wraps race cars, decals, signs, apparel, Facebook, you name it. She does good work here. She does, you can see, she does our decals up there. She did her own decal, obviously, because she's a sign person, right? But, yeah, she does good work. She really does. MGK Racing, okay? Our limited late model team right there in Franklin County, okay? The 462 and the 85, okay? Michelle Gunner and Keith Walls. Now, shall we name our newest sponsor, our partner, that we are proud to be a part of, and especially a new journey, okay, officially a new journey, okay, and that's TRW Race Cars, ladies and gentlemen. That's right, TRW Race Cars, Tom and DJ Myers, the Myers family, dirt late model chassis, past and present technology, components are made in-house, a lot of them are, okay, safe, affordable, and competitive. That's how I would put it, you know. They may want to add something else, but no, I think it's wonderful, and we welcome them onto the show, onto the sponsorship backdrop right there you can see. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to run our results. We got a good many results, okay? I'd like to thank Jeff Alder, okay? I'd like to thank Jeff Alder. He's the AV guy. He got us fixed up with all this new equipment, and he plays a huge role. He runs the whole deal at the Maryland Stock Car Hall of Fame. We had the privilege of going there last year and speaking as an MC in it. You know what I mean? And you don't realize when you get down around that southern Maryland, that southern belt, there's a lot of racing history down there. There's a ton of racing history. And I learned a lot when I was down there. You know, people you see all the time at the races, and that's where they're from, you know? It's pretty cool. But second week in November, they have their event, second week in November. And we'll be getting that specific date here pretty soon. And I'm telling you, it's worth going to. Ask Fred. And they bring so much memorabilia, cars, doors, hoods, and such. You can't even get around it in the whole time you're there. You know? I mean, they had Bobby Ballantyne, the terrible wreck he had in Daytona. I have a picture right behind me here. In the one car. It was like a coupe. You know, and they got like the whole door of that and everything, and they got all sorts of stuff, man. It's pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah, those tracks there. I mean, they were. We'll ask our guests when they come on. I mean, they were getting her done back in the day when they were open. They truly were. Potomac's right now is really all you got. Well, Maryland has 3 tracks: Maryland Ventures at Cumberland, the old Rock, Thundering Rock, Hagerstown, and then Potomac. Obviously, there's your 3. That's your only 3 left in Maryland. Okay. So having said that, we want to rest in peace, Rip. We learned. We learned there yesterday of the tragic passing of a 4-cylinder driver and resident of the Three Springs, Raymond Goss. And, you know, I do not know what happened other than God, man, it's awful, but he's not with us. And he does run weekly there. And So I'm sure we'll be, obviously saying a word or two for him at the races this weekend. So such a tragic loss, it really is. Our condolences go out to the family. That we truly are sorry. Okay, moving on. Fred's everything rocking? We're rocking? Everybody's cool. Is it cool in here? Are anybody too cold, are they? Like you always yell at me and say the air's blowing on you, freezes you out. And then it's like another 27 degrees up here and I'm sweating. You know what I mean? We're going to have to get climate controlled. Yeah, right. Okay, we're moving on to results. Okay, brought to you by Dan's Auto Repair. That's exactly right. Dan's Auto Repair, your past weekly results for racing. Put that away. There we go. So let's look at them. Then we're going to get to the meat and potatoes. Okay? And we're doing good on time. We're real good. I'm getting quicker at this. I'm getting quicker. Okay? But we're going to get to the meat and potatoes, ladies and gentlemen. Results. Let's do it. Bedford, the Firecracker 76. Well, I tell you what. What's that pirate say? Shiver me timbers. Okay. Super late model feature winner was Jacob Piper. How about that? The Pied Piper. He parked it there. Good for him. Obviously he won on the big stage there last year for his first super late model win. He comes back this year, a little bit different looking race car. In between that win and that win, he busted about 70 of them up. Okay. But I'm just teasing. He knows I'm teasing him. But the bottom line is they've been looking for speed. And they've been struggling a little bit, but they found it, and good for him. So he parked it. Ryan was second. The general. Kyle Lee was third. Okay? Moving forth. PA Speed Week. We ain't going to hit it all. We're just going to give the blurps. Okay? Because we already did some of them on the news last week. We covered them all. Williams Grove. I was Danny Dietrich, 20,000 in the Mitch Smith Memorial. We moved to Saturday, Port Royal to Speed Palace. We see Lance DeWeese pocket 20,000 in the Greg Hotnet Classic. Man, I love to see old LD. You know what I'm saying? Parker and Victory Lane. I like that. Path Valley, obviously they had the 410 sprints there as well. They were the final leg of PA Speed Week for 410s. Going into that, Macri was ahead in points. Dietrich was chasing him. But it worked out like this. Dietz won. Okay. Ryan Smith was second. Brent Marks was third. Macri wins the championship for the Speed Week title. We've seen the wingless sportsmen's, Eric Walker and Transton Stoner. There you go, Transton Stoner. You know, he ran crates all them years. He's been running these for 2 years now. The wingless sportsmen's, he ran second. Okay, he ran second. Dog Hollow. Here we go, Dog Hollow. Thursday, there was a lot of racing there midweek last week. There was. Thursday, limited late models. It was Snooky. Okay, he snooked them, the Snooky. Okay, that's number 10, I think. And he's hell for going to these tracks he ain't ever seen before and winning. You know what I'm saying? But, hey, good for them. We've seen Weaver. Or who do I have to run in second? I tell you, ain't this awful? I need to get the magnifying glass out here. Help me out here, anybody out there. I think it's Weaver. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Weaver ran second. Kyle Lear ran third. Okay? Kyle Lear ran third. Crates, it was Davin Kaiser. Davin Kaiser. We know him from Winchester. That was 5 in a row for him. Okay, in the crate car. Angelico ran second. Ciccarelli dips over in the crate car Dog Hollow that night and runs third. He stands on the podium. The boss man. Ooh. Okay, Friday, Dog Hollow Friday. We had a back-to-back, right? And on this one right here, we had 2,000 smackers, I believe. $2,000 were on the line. Okay, so a little nice payout. Okay, so we see DJ Myers, right? He makes the haul from Worleystown, PA, in the TRW chassis race car and lays it down, parks it in Victory Lane. Second was Snooky. Okay, he come back. He liked it so much he came back the second night. Okay, and then Caden Bard was third. Okay, so yeah, DJ Myers, TRW chassis, excellent. Now they had a limited late model makeup from what I understand as well, and that went to Brian Benton in the limiteds. They had a makeup, Brian Benton. Okay, Potomac. Let's stop at the Potomac. Budds Creek, super late models. Trevor Feathers parks it in Victory Lane. Moreland was second. I imagine Moreland was on a 525 motor. I'm pretty sure. He's still 525, and then he runs it down at Potomac. We've seen Russell Irwin run third. Well, we've seen Russell Irwin at Winchester this past weekend. He also ran Modified Mafia in limited late models. Winchester, speaking of, Chris Arnold, he's victorious at Winchester. Cable was second. Norder, third. We go to the limited late models. $2,500 on the line for limited late models at the Action Track at Winchester, Virginia. Okay? Hardy was first. Myers and the TRW chassis. What a weekend. Racing weekend. Myers runs second. Licklider third. Licklider's been up there all year, and around he's there. But yeah, good deal. Now we were down there with the Modified Mafia. I was announcing for them for the first time, doing that as kind of a fill-in deal. That was a lot of fun. I knew many of the drivers, but some I didn't know. Okay, and it was blistering hot that day. I can tell you that. I got fried to a crisp that day down there walking around. But anyways, Fred, what's up? Anything going on up at that end? I'm gonna tell you what, man. That's a lot of stuff to lay out. You know what I'm saying? I ought to work for a politician. They can write it, and I'll say it. You know what I mean? Lie like hell. Just lie. How about it? We ain't lying. We're giving you the results. That's right. If you're just tuning in, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. We welcome you. This is Chaz Used Auto Parts, Studio 02, episode number 69, Elbows, Dirt Productions. I'm Tommy Curdell, here on the mic, giving you the information. ULMS, Zuver and Company. Genesee Speedway, but TV in New York, right? We said it 100 times Thursday and Friday because we were there. Okay? Elbows Up did the pre-race zone. We did the fan zone. We did pit walkies. We did it. We even did a hot pit. What do you think of that? A hot pit. They were there working on the car on Montgomery. We tested it out, didn't we? And you couldn't hear none of the car running. They were beating metal, putting tires on, yelling, revving cars up, and we were right there. I loved it. It worked perfect. But yeah, we had a good time there Thursday and Friday. We seen Thursday, Dave Hess Jr. Dave Hess Jr. in the 44. Guy keeps clicking away, man. He wins them. He gets them done. We've seen second with Ziggy. Ziggy, unfortunately, he gave her up on the last set of corners. Dave Hess Jr. got him. Lap car, somebody didn't zig, somebody didn't zag. And that's all she wrote. But you come back Friday night at Genesee for $10,000 on the line. You see Ziggy. He didn't give that one away. He won that one. Hess was second, okay? Hess was second. Port Royal. Super late models, Andrew Yoder, he parked her, okay? Yoder was also up in McKean County running too, I seen. I think he was second up there. Port Royal, super late models, Andrew Yoder, he parks at Victory Lane. It looked like it to be Stuhler. Stuhler was second, Knob was third. I think they had a full field of cars, I'm pretty sure when I looked. Yeah, he was. Also second in McKean County. Also second. By the way, Mark the Shark. I already told him about Mark the Shark, didn't I? And the llama farming. Yeah, already did that. Yeah, he's watching us. I can tell you that right now. Okay, upcoming Friday, Sealings Grove. That's the last leg of Appalachian Mountain Speed Week on Friday. That's the makeup. Tomorrow, okay? Saturday, Saggy Memorial. Drivers will get in free in all classes from what I'm reading. Hagerstown. That's the makeup there, okay? Sunday, they go to Winchester. They run the Spence Memorial. That's a makeup, okay? Drivers will get in free there, from what I understand. That's what it says. I think Chaz's Used Auto Parts played a little role in that, okay? So kudos to Chaz, right? They also have one, the East Coast Legends, Freezing Company, right? So they'll be there. They always bring 45-plus cars in them Legends, you know what I'm saying? They usually have 2 features for them, and that'd be good racing. We'll be at Path Valley, obviously, tomorrow night, okay, for TA's Showdown, okay? Showdown for $2,000 in the 270s. We'll be there. And we'll be Saturday night at Path Valley. Limited's be in town. What do you think of that, huh? Okay. Mods are on the quit. There's a lot of features that night. There's like 7 features. It's a busy night. Sunday, if the weather permits, we'll go back down to Winchester. We'll cover that, pit walk it, do interviews, even for East Coast Legends separately, and then we're going to do the super late models. We'll be down there. Path Valley, you check Path Valley. There's a lot of limiteds running, a lot of late model racing going on in the month of July. They're on quite a many more times this month. Yeah, for sure. So, go to YouTube. That's right, go to YouTube. Facebook, after 30 days, you know what they do? They kick you out. You know what I mean? They kick the videos off. They kick them off because their space is getting too full. Old Zuckerberg says I ain't getting rich enough. You know what I mean? So they kick them off. So you'll find them now over at our YouTube page. Elbows Up Their Productions. Go on and hit the subscribe button. It's all there. All the commercials, the pit walks, the pre-race zones, these shows, they're all there. You hit subscribe. It doesn't cost you nothing. Just hit the subscribe button. It's free of charge. Boom. Hit subscribe. So, having said that, we'll be on the move. A lot going on. And we're pretty stoked about things, obviously. We got a huge show tonight, like I said, episode 69, ladies and gentlemen. And, you know, I'm sitting here and looking at these. I got people in the stands here. I like that. People in the stands. Okay. But no, we're having on, there's so many things I could say. I don't want to ruin, you know, talking with them. But, you know, we're bringing on a fella that obviously raced when there was a lot of ingenuity and a lot of fabrication and craftsmanship and a lot of things that weren't figured out. Okay. And it took guys that spend a lot of time on things to figure them out. And, you know, he was successful up through in the 80s and the 90s. I'm not sure how far in the 2000s, but he was successful a lot of damn years, okay, and went in a lot of races. You know, his son comes along. He's obviously been successful. We've seen these guys, our DJ, I'll put it out there. We've seen him do a lot of great things, run for a lot of great people, ran his family car and succeed as well. And, man, they've been around the business a lot of time, and there's a wealth of information there. And we were really, you know, happy to have him on the show. But without further ado, out of Worleystown, Pennsylvania, that's right, it's the number 70. It's the Worleystown Express. It's Tommy Myers and DJ Myers. Come on down here, guys. Okay. Now, you remember where you're sitting, right? Okay. Tom? There you go, buddy. You've got the comfy chair. Yeah, that one the springs ain't out of. You know what I'm saying? Nah, they're all good chairs. Fred, you got there one? Okay, so you're all on. Just don't push that button, right? We're done. That shuts you down. And then we got to call the AV guy. You know what I'm saying? He's an hour away. It ain't good. So I'm going to hope, man, you guys are really, I got to reposition here. You know what I'm saying? I got to get me a better stool. You know what I'm saying? This here's a Cobalt from Lowe's.
You need one of these comfy chairs.
I do. I feel like I'm up on a perch. You know what I'm saying? I'm up on a perch. Fred, are they sounding good up there? Okay, good. If they are, you might want to bring, you know, Tom you guys keep your voice up normal, you know, with these mics and keep them, you know, right. DJ, he's ready, boy. You look like you're holding a hatchet like that. Like you're just going to cut it loose. Well, I tell you what, guys. It's a pleasure to have you on this episode 69. Once again, if you're tuned in, Chance Used Auto Parts, Elbows Up, Dirt Productions. I'm Tommy Gerdell. I'm here beside DJ Myers and his father, Tom Myers, or Tommy Myers, depending on what era you're from there and who it is saying what, you know. My dad tonight, he said, I'm going to go and stop out and see that Tommy Myers. And DJ, he didn't forget you either. You know what I'm saying? But, yeah, so, okay, man, you're here. It's been hot as two hells out, okay? And I know you boys do some outside work. And, man, racing's been hot, and we finally got some racing in. You know what I mean? And you guys have obviously doing pretty good here, you know? And once again, I got Tom Myers over here. Tom, I tell you, seeing you, hell, you look just as young as this guy. You know, what are you doing, Tom? How are you keeping up this? You're working too much, aren't you, Tom?
I guess that's what it is. I don't know for sure.
Well, I tell you, I know. Well, Tom, you know, and we'll start, and we can go anyway direction, but you guys have, obviously, you started racing, obviously, first. Makes sense, right? Okay. Something weird going on. DJ follows. Now, I was around that period when you started racing, okay? And you caught on pretty quick, okay? And I used to say to Fred, and I used to say to other people, why the hell doesn't DJ Myers race? You know what I'm saying? He keeps working on these cars. And, Tom, you were driving, right? You were driving.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah. And old DJ, he works on these damn, and you guys work on them too, but I'm thinking, when's this guy going to drive? You know what I'm saying? And lo and behold, he takes the first step, and the first damn night out, at Winchester, you parked in Victory Lane.
Yeah, it was the fourth race.
We'll go with the fourth. Yeah, its first sounded good. But I got to be honest, that's just as good as first. You know what I'm saying? But, man, and then you start driving. Now, Tom, was you driving, when DJ started driving intermittently or more, you were still driving as well?
Yeah, I was still racing then, too. And he come along, you know, wanted to start racing, so, you know, that's how he got started there. His pap was involved a good bit with both of us.
Correct.
We thought we would, you know, he was gung-ho to go, so that's what we did. We built him a car then, too. And I didn't want to start him out like in a street stock or nothing like that. We talked about that. And I didn't want him to get no bad habits. So we just put him in a late model, and we went from there.
Yeah, I tell you, I ran one of them street stocks, but I had bad habits before it started, Tom. You know, it just didn't work out. In fact, yeah, I can remember. I can remember you sitting on my race car. You were overseeing the old street stock when I brought it up there. You know what I mean? We're going back. Now, obviously, you referenced your father, your grandfather. That's the late Tex Myers, okay? my dad, obviously, that's in his age era. And I know my father, you know, he was here tonight to see you, had spent a lot of time maybe in the construction, excavating and talking
Right.
and things. And Tex, you know, Tex, he was in a lot of street racing too.
Oh, he was a big drag racer back in the day.
Yeah, just keep, Tom, bring her up to about right here. There,
Okay.
there you go. Yeah,
All
I
right.
want them to hear you, Tom, because they want to hear you more than they want to hear me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can assure you that, Tom. You know, but anyways, you know, Tex obviously watched you race, was there, had a lot of ingenuity, a lot of part of it, and then now he's watching DJ race. You know what I'm saying? And I think there's a family dynamic there that comes to mind.
Well, my dad, he drag raced some, but he didn't, you know, he didn't make a lot of money, you know, fooling with that there. And everyone else was, you know, racing at the time. Jerry Freeze and Larry Gorman and some of them older fellows that he drag raced with. Jerry got into, you know, circle track racing, and he built his first car there. And actually, his first driver would have been Jeff Robinson.
Okay, the old Shady Grove slingshot.
Yeah, that's who started.
Okay.
That's where Jeff. That's how Jeff got his started. And the biggest thing with my dad was he kept a car there at the shop, and he entertained a lot of boys and kept a lot of boys out of trouble.
Okay, there you go. Right. Okay.
And that was one of his main goals.
Yeah, right. Okay, because it was mischief. You know what I mean?
Oh,
And,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
hell raising going on up
Yeah.
at Worleystown,
But
right?
that kept him busy, and
Yeah.
that, just like DJ and Todd and, you know, some of the other boys that come there and stuff to the shop there. I mean, they started out early, and, you know, I told them, I said, you're going to have to get dirty, you know, make them work on
Yeah.
it, you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You know, Tom, I've all the cars, and you looked at the pictures I had, and I'm sure I don't have all of them, you know, but you know, the ones I have and the ones I have on the wall here that are hung with other pictures. You've drove several cars other than the family car over the years, Tom.
Oh, yeah.
And you've been highly successful in those. And I even got some pictures of you back here. You look like you have long hair. I got to be
Oh, I
honest.
did, yeah. I went through that stage.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh, I think he listened to Led Zeppelin as well. You know what I'm saying? I could see him listen to Misty Mountaintop.
Yeah.
You know?
No more hair, though. It's all going.
It's gone, right? It's gone. It's gone. And that car that I pointed out the other week, you had. I think you said your wife had hand-lettered that.
No, she didn't. One of her friends that was went to school with her come down and
hand-lettered the number on there.
Yeah. It ain't
Okay.
the prettiest thing, but hey, back then you didn't know nobody
That's
to do
what my
nothing.
dad did on the O2 back in them days. You
Yeah.
just hand-painted it on. You
Yeah.
didn't have all these wraps.
No.
You didn't have that.
No.
Now, Tom. Speaking of some of these folks, and that is a good picture. I might have to get that one blown up here a little bigger.
That's
you know?
fine, that's fine.
Yeah, that's a good. The number 70. That's stuck right ever since 70.
Well, that's 70. How that come about was whenever my dad built the very first car, the boys that was in the shop, they added up all their ages, and it come out to 70. And that's how it
Are
started.
you serious?
Yeah.
Now here all along, I've been thinking this is some strategical thing that was thought out.
No, that's how it started, and we just I've stuck with that number ever since.
So let me get this right for the people again. So all the boys that come to the garage to help.
Yes.
All their ages
Yes.
added up to 70.
To 70.
Okay. So I guess you only did it one time because they all got a year older every
Yep,
year.
yep.
You know what I'm saying? Huh? Okay. Okay.
That's how it played out.
Well, see, that's news to me. I'm sure 90% of people don't even know that. That's good. That's good. So, okay. So then, Tom, what do you think right after? What was the first car you went into after your family car? What was the first car you probably ran that you ran for maybe a whole season or a couple seasons or like that?
Well, a Rayburn car, you know, we built, but you know, I built my own cars, you know,
Yeah.
for years. So I'd have to say I built my own cars.
You built your own.
I built my own cars in I guess it was like 78, between 78 and 79. I built a car there, and actually, I built the first four-link car that was ever built.
Okay.
And that four-link car is still out there today. I became a Rayburn dealer then, and I took, you know, went out to Rayburn's and talked to him about it, and then Rayburn come out with the four-link, and they went away from it a little bit, and then Mark Richards come along with the four-link. A lot of people don't know that, but there's a lot of stuff I made and told other people, but never got no credit for.
Well, that's a heck of a thing. That happens lots of times, don't it?
That's true.
Yeah, because we talked about that, the fabrication, the ingenuity, and a lot of things went into that. You guys can fabricate, obviously.
Right.
And you're of a quick study, you
Well,
know?
that's what he was wanting to build his own car here again, which I built some of my own cars, built a lot of cars for people. But I figured we would build our own car again, and we might as well get the credit for it than someone else getting the credit for it.
Correct.
So that's why we're where we're at here today.
That's why right behind him we see TRW, race
Correct.
cars.
Correct.
And I got to be honest, I was obviously in the shop, and what I'm seeing is a lot of fabrication, and you got parts stocked, okay, that are made, machined down, that you guys been working on. So you're pretty serious. You know what I mean? And when I read your card here, and I put this in here, and I put safe, okay, affordable. You didn't go in business to sell something that's outrageously priced. That's the problem it is now, right?
Correct. Everything is.
Yeah, but yet competitive. So
Right.
you had all three. And I like to put on there, Tom, that it's past and present technology. Because you can't tell me, if I knew you but didn't know you, you could convince me pretty quick that you're incorporating a lot of years that
Yes.
you've been around us into this. You
Yes.
brought all that with you forward.
Correct. I mean, I talked to a lot of racers today, and there's a lot of racers out there. What they're running today, I call a shelf car.
Correct.
Because when you go out and race, you go out with a 24 car field today, there's probably hardly a nut or bolt difference between them. So if you want to beat them, you have to build something different. And we did that years ago with our PPM car. When we built that, you know, a lot of people says this is a copy car of a rocket. Yes, it looks like that. We built the same bumpers for the front and the rear and stuff because it can go anywhere and get that. But the rest of the structure of the car is not like that. Our car is completely different. Our front end is completely different. That's where we figure that we are going to have to beat them, is through our front end and stuff, because a 4-link suspension is a 4-link suspension. And these guys will get to talking about, you know, their crunch numbers, and they do all this stuff here. And, you know, we still scale a car to get what we're after. But a lot of these guys, they keep putting the same thing on week in and week out. They're not going to get any better.
Right.
So that's what we're hunting. We're hunting something better. So that's where we're at with this race car.
I tell you what, I like that slogan. That could be a good slogan, hunting something better. You know what I mean? Think about it. If you want to hunt something, I mean, yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a lot to be said for that, ladies and gentlemen. If you're just tuning in, I'm Tommy Cordell. We're here with Tom Myers and DJ Myers. We're both obviously a past race driver, proven, like I said, legendary of your time, Tom. And we're sitting here with DJ, obviously. He's proven himself on the oval, and then he slowed down a little bit, you know, and then come back at it here, and he's been running limiteds a lot, you know, and doing things, and even some modifieds.
Yeah.
How about that? You still got that modified up there?
Yeah, she's for sale.
Well, okay. He's got one for sale. Now, once again, tell me here, that car is unique to what you guys built. I mean, you built that unique. That's no cookie cutter modified.
No, that was a PPM car that we had there. He wrecked up at Heston, bent the front clip up on it. So I just went ahead and I had an old Chevelle there. Well, actually, the front snout I bought it off of Willie Rowell. You know,
Okay.
Back in, he had a frame laying there,
Yeah.
and I built that car there, and we went out and won with it twice. You know, so I mean, and that's what I'd like to see these race cars, these racetracks, make these guys work on the race cars. You know, if I had a racetrack, I would pay extra money for a guy. Each week I would go out and try to gather up $200 from a sponsor. And each week that you would come to that racetrack, I would be adding that on to the purse. So as the year would go along, your person's going to be getting up 3, 4,000, 5,000 for someone that wins with some other type of suspension on. Make that racer work on his race car.
Yeah.
Not depend on the guy that built the race car and
Right.
everything. Make the racer work on his race car. They don't do that no more. They don't know how to do that. And I
Yeah.
hate to say that. There's a lot of guys out there that's going to fuss me for saying that, but I'm telling them the truth.
Right, right. Yeah, and I know there's a lot of discussion about that. You know, it's volume, not, it's volume. Because these guys want to run, right? And here's the thing, is if you want to run, there's only so many days in the week. So guess what? It becomes pretty, everything is not more like you're talking about fine tune, you know what I mean? Really working on your car.
Yeah, that like you're talking like fine tuning. These guys, they take all these. I talk to different people. They take they get these numbers from these guys. Well, somewhere along the line, someone had that car on scales and give them numbers. That's
Right.
what they don't understand. Someone had to do that for them. Scales were involved in that whole process.
100%.
You
Intercomp made a lot of money over the years selling digital scales, let's be honest.
Right.
I can remember in the 90s racing, okay, and I drove to Worleystown to get my car scaled because everybody didn't have scales.
Right.
You had feed scales, and not many people had digital. If you had a pair of digital scales, you were pretty high up, you know what I mean?
Right.
But the bottom line is, man, they took off, and now you only scale a car one time, and then if it gets totally tore up, and then you put it back on the scales, and that's it.
See, that's what I'm saying. That's what a lot of guys do. But we've run 5 races. In each race, we've been getting better and better. That's because we keep changing.
Correct. You keep trying to fine tune.
Yes.
You keep trying to tune the car.
We're hunting.
And, right.
We're hunting speed.
You're hunting speed. And here's the thing, and that's what we talked about with this whole deal, is that's where you bring in,
Correct.
and that's your whole deal, I think, with what you're doing right there.
Right. I'm doing all the talking. He's not doing the.
Well, I know, Tom, you're good. You're not staying.
That's
They
all right,
told me,
you're doing
Tom, that
fine.
you would be up on the mic.
Yeah,
you
you're
know?
doing good.
I what I don't understand about these promoters at these racetracks is they think that the limited class is their savior. The late models done fell off the wall like dead flies, and they're letting the limited class get clear out of control.
Right, right.
I would like to, I would like to see them go clear back to an oil-based shop, a regular valving that you buy over the counter, and at the end of the night, if the racetrack wants to buy your 4 shocks, you have to give your 4 shocks up. And if they're checked out and they're tampered with, then I would let my drivers, my 24 drivers, give you your punishment.
Right, right.
I mean, that's the way I feel that this racing should be, because they can't keep spending all this money.
Yeah.
I don't understand it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, no, you're exactly right. It's priced itself out.
Yes.
You know, it has. Now, this guy right here, obviously, going back to the fourth win, right, at Winchester. And do you know how many career wins did you have?
I gotta recount them. There's 90-some on my door that I have hanging in the shop,
Okay.
but I'd have to.
You'd have to count.
I don't have an exact
Well, I
number.
got to be honest with you. That's 90 more than I have. Okay, so you're doing pretty damn good. I tell you. So we'll pause here for station identification. Okay, you're listening to Elbows Up Dirt Productions, The House of Dirt, episode number 69 with Tom Myers and DJ Myers. I'm Tommy Gradell. We're here in the Studio O2. Fred, can you hear me now? Is everything good? Yeah. We're coming through sound-wise. Everybody over here. Tom's loud enough. DJ's loud enough.
You can speak up a little more.
Huh?
Tom can speak up a little more.
Mm-hmm. You can hear him though, can't you? Good. See, Fred tells us. He's the guy who keeps all that. He's the fine tuner. You see what I'm saying?
I'll keep speaking up.
You're good. I like
Okay.
that, Tom Myers. Be forceful, Tom Myers.
There you go.
Yeah, be forceful. Okay, so this guy, be forceful too, you know? Now, DJ, obviously, you know, you ran in the family stables there. You've had the chance, obviously, to drive for some, pretty stout teams, or cars, owners. Okay,
Correct.
you had a stint there, obviously, with the Gunners hunting machine. Okay, and you did a lot of moving or racing or little places you've never been.
Right.
Okay, and then there's so many people that you've raced a little bit for here and there, filled in. Hell, I can remember you ran a 43A car.
A time or two.
That's what I thought. I know you did a time or two that you filled in on it like that, and probably even the Oh, geez. Let's see. I lost my track. The white car with just the plain numbers on it that you drove a lot of. 50E. I think you were in that 50E at least once. You filled in for that car. I challenge you, DJ.
Maybe, but I don't think so.
I'm going to pull history up. We can't. Mark the Shark's the historian. He's down there walking through llama dung. Yeah. You know what I mean? Trying to pick out the best llama, ladies and gentlemen, for Mark to bring back to sell at the Greencastle Livestock Market. Ain't that a hell of a note? But anyways, if Mark's having fun, that's good. But so, moving forth, yeah, you've drove for some pretty astute people, and you've been successful. You've won some big races, DJ.
Yeah, we've been fortunate over our racing career. Some of the races, but all the special shows at Hagerstown. The only one was the Oktoberfest I haven't won. In the region, the King of the Knob, and there's a lot of them, and as time goes on, you forget about them, but some of them are special to you. I was never fortunate enough, though, to win like a Lucas Oil or a World of Outlaw race. I've run second many a times, just never sealed the deal on one of them.
Yeah. Me neither.
Max and stuff. We
Right.
we run them and won one of them out Latrobe and in different places. So
You say Latrobe?
yeah,
Okay, so the ULMS is there in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
We're
that's-
going out there to do our stuff. I've never been there, so we're looking forward to going out
it's a
there
nice
to do it.
racetrack.
Okay.
Years ago, it was just when I was there. They were trying to start it back up. It was already there. It had its roughness to it, but it was still racy surface,
Yeah.
and I'm sure today they've had
Well, they
time.
drink a lot of beer there, DJ.
Is that
That's where
yes,
Rolling Rock's from.
It's Steel City.
Yeah, it's Rolling Rock, right, Fred? That's where their home is. That's where it all comes from.
Yeah.
But anyway, we will leave that out of there. But no, you've been in a lot of tracks and you've won a lot of things. Now you said you haven't won a Lucas race or an Outlaw race, but I don't think you've won a Max race.
One, I think.
I'm
Yes.
pretty sure you won a Max race. And speaking over here, I know this guy. He'll probably agree with me. That Max series was a pretty good series, wasn't it?
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah,
The
there
pay
that-
was good.
Oh yeah, there was a lot of good cars in there, a lot of good people, and they had the same thought process, kind of how to run things and do. And boy, man, they drew a crowd. I'd take them Max races back in the day over the Habit Tampa and Stars sometimes because they were good races
Yeah, I liked them. Yeah.
for sure. So you won one of them, obviously, and then you kind of like. Life happens, right? We have kids, we do all this stuff, and you kind of took it was a little pause.
Yeah, a little pause. I've built a new house and wanted to take time. And you spend so much money on this. We don't spend a lot of money on this race, and it's time and effort because we try to make everything. So I needed time. So when I met my wife, we got married and built a new house. And
Now she's in the stands.
yeah,
tonight.
she's my big supporter.
Okay.
And
there you go.
we slowed down there for a little bit, and I give credit here for getting going again to Ron Fry. He called me one day. I was picking my daughter up from volleyball practice, and he wanted to know if I wanted to run his car. And I was like, well, sure, But that turned into a good thing there for the last 3, maybe close to 4. I know it was 3 years solid, but there was a half a year there when we drove for his car. And we won numerous races for him and got to be good friends. I always knew Colby over the years, and so a pretty good relationship with them now. And I speak with Colby pretty regularly on certain things.
Superfly.
The Superfly.
That's the Superfly, Colby Fry. We
Yeah.
bought a lot of stuff there and did with Colby. Yes, sir.
Yeah, and years ago when we built our PPM car and dealt with Randy and them down there, me and Colby, we used to have a thing, and I just was picking on him here a couple months ago about it. Everybody runs the left rear chain now, and
Yeah.
it's straight up and down stuff. But when Randy and Ricky when Dad was talking here, they're a big part of our racing program over the last 10 years with his ideas, me trying to explain what I feel,
Right.
and them boys incorporating newer technology for
I
us.
was just going to say, let's just say, Colby brought you guys that little piece of the newer technology.
Well, I'm talking about Randy and
Oh, you're
Ricky
talking-
at PPM.
At PPM. So,
Prior to this.
Okay.
So, but I'm telling a joke about Colby.
yeah, I gotcha.
So we used to run our chain from the left rear straight back.
Yeah.
There's different thought process on that, on how that's giving you traction. And Colby, when
Before
he-
anybody else was actually
we had
doing
one,
this.
yeah, before they, and Colby used to come up to my car and try to talk to me, and finally got the best of him one day, and he said, "What the hell is that chain in there?" And I said, "Well, didn't you know?" And he says, "What?" I said, "Well, we're loggers." I said, "You got to chain your shit up if you want to go fast."
I like
So it's been a running joke, and
I'm pretty sure the Superfly play went. He always tilts his head. That's what he does.
yeah,
always
he
tilts
said
his head.
okay, and he walked away. So, but no, they're a good family and good bunch,
Yeah.
and Ron and Sandy Fry, and that's how we got started here again. And Ron told me last year that was his last year, and which was great. I still talk to him. And how this all come about is I told Dad that I'm getting older, and we've raced a long time, and he's built his own race cars, and I wanted to build my own.
It's time.
It's time, and I said I don't got many years left of racing, and I want to build something to be competitive and see where it goes. And I have a lot of ideas, and this thing started last year in January, and we were sitting by the stove, and I told him that's what I'd like to do. And the following night I come in, and he said, "Well, you better get some shit gathered up if that's what you want to do, because you're going to run out of time."
Yeah.
The night before, we just sort of joked about it. So we did, and we had some different people help us along the way on certain things, and we already had a jig built there because he builds frames for 55s, 6 and 7.
No,
so,
let's put a pause right there.
Okay.
Let's stop right there. So I can remember when I didn't live here. I was up north in Williamsport. So the only way I knew what was going on, I'd ask the old man, but hell, he'd get it all wrong. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, was Facebook back in the day. And this was kind of during that hiatus. But man, you guys were pushing out the freaking 55s like there wasn't nobody's business, weren't you? Like,
And I built quite a few frames for them.
and you pictures on Facebook of, is that your car?
there are cars that we would buy, fix up, ride
Yeah.
around a little bit, and sell them.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
But you
my
guys,
wife, she has a hard time when we get one. She likes it, and she don't like it
is
when
it
we
like a
sell 'em.
rabbit? She don't try to give it away. We got to give the rabbit away. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
And she don't want to give the stray away.
No.
Right? But some of them cars are pretty freaking. They're pretty minute out, man. I got to be honest.
But once you get, it's an awful thing to say, but once you get the race cars in your veins, they just never leave.
So, in this, walks you back into it.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, my wife fusses.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure. Here we go. You know what I'm saying? Here we go.
I
again.
spent a lot of nights in the garage.
Yeah.
Lot
Oh
of
yeah.
nights in the
Oh
garage.
yeah. No, you're right. You can always guarantee. But anyways, go ahead.
Well, and I like to give where credit's due too, and Dad knows this. His lifetime friend Bob, he's sitting here with us this evening. He's been helping him. Dad's been doing this for over 50 years, and Bob's been there since he's 16 on the farm on the hill. He comes every day. He's a trooper, and I can't thank Bob enough for what he does for us.
There you go. That's Bob right there. Bob,
Yep.
he's in the stands.
Yep.
In the
And
stands.
I got other younger boy.
I told him he could come on.
Yeah. I got another younger boy that helps Ty, and my son Wyatt, and my wife, and my kids, even the daughters. They're slowly getting more interested in it on when we go and the certain things we do. But anyhow, we started this, and we built 2 cars. So we got 1 car out, and we got another young fellow that's going to get in one, and we'll let him, when that time comes, he can let that news out, and so
Yeah.
that way we have somebody to work with a little bit. But so far, I'm very pleased with my car and how it feels, because we took stuff that he knew from years ago, stuff that we've welded in cars while we're racing,
Right.
to try to make them better, to be different, and stuff that I've learned with him and PPM with Randy and Ricky. And so that's sort of what this car is, like you're saying. It's a whole big box of marbles, and we picked out the good ones and tried to go with it.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good way to put it. You take what worked from the past, you bring it forward, put a little bit of the Ford in it. You know what I mean? And you come to one product right there.
Yeah.
And it seems like it's obviously you guys. I can't imagine going to buy one of your race cars and you saying, "Hey, have nice, take care." And like you can't call you. And ask you, hey, for help. You know what I'm saying? I think that's where you offer that as well with what you're doing, and that's great, because a lot of places it isn't that easy. You know what I mean? It isn't that easy. Now, if you're just tuning in, ladies and gentlemen, once again, we're here at Elbows Up Dirt Productions, the House of Dirt. We're with DJ and Tom Myers, and We're talking about all sorts of stuff. And if you can remember, I can remember this. How they got to the number 70 was the total sum. Frank, you ought to do a math problem. That's what you ought to do at a dry race board. The total sum of all of the young fellas at the garage watching was 70. Like that. That's pretty good, buddy. This thing, that's how set. But you put the J beside it.
Yep.
Do you know why?
No.
Because my name's in the number when you say it.
70.
70J.
70J. Okay, right there you go. See that 70J, right? It makes sense. Yeah, I like it. These are the things that the seven's wonder of the world, that you learn about. The good stuff. I like it.
You know, over the years, I've asked a lot of guys that, like the Bachmans in Bedford and different people. Them boys, they started racing. They all graduated in '87. Lance Klingerman was their driver, and they just drawed a hat, and he was going to be the one to drive it, and that's how they come up with their number. And I like that. That's something that I do try to ask different people how they come up with their number, because it's very interesting. On like Kitty Pennyjohn, they were in the shop one night. He said he built his first street stock.
Yeah, 8-ball.
No, 38 Special. That
Oh,
was the
38
song.
Special.
That was the song was on the radio, and that's what they put
There
on the
you go.
car.
38 special. You got to hold on loosely. Don't let go, Fred. How about that? You were at the prom back in the 70s. Dancing around, big old afro like that. That's that. Fast Freddy, ladies and gentlemen. He's up there running the soundboard while Mark's buying llamas. Okay, damn Mark. Anyway,
Yeah, I will say one thing. I have met a lot of good people over the years in racing.
yeah.
Yeah.
And you drove for some people that
Yes.
you consider today that your friend.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They all still are.
Yeah, well, there you go. There you go. There's a lot to be said. There seems to be a lot of falling out nowadays. You know what I'm saying? And I think maybe it's because of communication skills.
What I like about racing is that you could not see someone for 2 years and go to a certain racetrack and run into that guy. And we just did that up at Dog Hollow, run into the Deckers and stuff. And
Yeah, Tom
it's
Decker.
it's like you just talked to them the day before how they talk to you.
Yeah.
The racing
Sure.
family's a pretty good family.
Oh yeah, no, I gotta agree. Even with me, how about it, buddy? And you watch me wreck every damn thing I had. You know what I'm saying? I could tear them up. We were good at mash. Oh yeah, we got good at putting them together and taking them apart. But it didn't fare out for us. But no, racing's not for everybody. But there's a piece for everybody, and I think that's the big picture. I always like to put out to people. We talked about this up at the shop, Tom. I said that big wheel has a lot of pieces that need to have a lot of good people.
Yeah.
The racing's actually the small part of it.
Oh,
If you
yeah.
think about it, everything else is the part that makes the whole wheel go around.
I built over the years, I built a lot of cars for a lot of guys that, I built for Denny Bonebrake, Buddy Armel, Nathan Durbrow, Ernie Davis. Brad Umps, Jeff Freeze. They were, street stocks, limiteds, and late models. They was all champions with them. That Rayburn, I guess with the cantilever car, I think Denny won like 24 races with that car and got disqualified for one, so he had 23 wins that year. I think that was the most wins he's ever had in a late model.
Wow.
In
I'm
one
not sure
season.
on
In
that.
one
You'd have-
season.
In one season. Yeah.
Okay, wow. So yeah, you've built a lot of cars for
Built a
people.
lot
So
of-
it's not
yeah,
nothing
That's
new.
just some of them.
That's just some of
that I
it,
can,
right?
off the top of my head there.
Right. Well, I tell you, DJ, are we doing good? Sound, everything's good? See, we got this new sound system.
Well,
We
I
gotta
like that.
fine-tune it.
I've watched you a couple times before and could never hear nothing.
I know, that's right, that's right. So don't let me down. You yell at that thing, you know what I'm saying? Like that, they'll be yelling at me. No, these guys,
Still hearing, I've got him cut back to half.
who? Oh, I'm talking about these guys. Yeah, you hearing these guys? I want to hear these guys. They don't want to hear me. Hell, they told me, never mind. I won't even get into that like that. I tell you, I announced one of them 410 sprint features, you know what I mean, for Speed Week. I'm telling you, they're hardcore. I knew they'd be hardcore. Them 410 people, them some bitches, they live in another planet. You know what I'm saying? They do. They're into it, I ain't saying they're bad, you know what I mean? But some of them took to the old high, big energy, and some of them I don't think did. You know what I mean? But at the end of the night, hey, you can't please them all, right?
That's exactly right.
You can't please them all. So, DJ, you're pretty, I tell you, you guys, I watched you run like it was for Ronnie. You'd run, and Ronnie wouldn't run sometimes. You know what I mean? There'd be gaps. You know what I mean? and then either you race your car or you just wouldn't race. You know what I mean? You
Right.
take a break. But boy, I'm going to tell you now, the old trailers are hopping up and down the road, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it is. There is no place you guys don't go racing. I see that all the time. I'm going up the dog hall. You know, I'm going up here. I'm going there. I'm like, that's great. But that's fun. You know what I
Well,
mean?
We had to, because that was part of the thing. When this season started, we wanted our car to be done, but we also used that rocket car with what we had. But we made brackets, and I don't know how to explain it, to
That was
Get
our
inf-
guinea, it was
get-
that
we-
car was our guinea pig.
we cut brackets, and we made things to, so when we was going racing, that there's a lot of stress in this of
Well, yeah.
coming out and having a decent product or a good car.
Yeah.
And I just told my wife the other day, you know, when we got home and we won it, Dog Holler, like that relief was over. That you know,
Yeah.
you don't want to be a failure at this sport.
Yeah.
And it's a humble sport, because there's highs and lows,
There
and
is.
it'll kick you in the ass, and you can think you're on a roll, and the following week, you know, it'll shut the door on you. So to come out, and even with him, of what we wanted, we knew where we wanted to start. So
Yeah.
that was good, and there was help along the way of talking to certain people on knowing what we like and what he knows and what I like to feel. And I think a lot of racers want that feel, and it's hard to get anymore, because everything is one way. I wish I could explain that better, but these cars are their attitude and how they race. I don't care. I think if you get in any of these cars anymore, you have that feel. I mean, Ron's car was an older car. The car I had was a little older car. I talked to guys that run brand new cars. I talked to guys that run Longhorns. You know, they say about the steering and stuff, but like the attitude of these race cars are all the same today. I like feeling things through my steering wheel.
Okay.
So that's where I'm really concentrating on.
Okay. So that's your focus point right there. That's your focus point.
That's back to where I'm telling you, when the 24 car field pulls out on the racetrack, there's not another bolt difference between them.
Correct. It's almost like a model. You go to the store and you buy the model. You bring it home and you unpack the box.
And
And then you put it together.
I tell all these drivers out there, I urge them, don't be afraid to try something.
Yeah.
I mean, work on your race car. Even if you think it's wrong, do it, because you might find something, hit
Yeah.
something, and once you find that and get that, then they're all chasing you.
Well, that's the thing. How fast the tables turn.
That's
Okay?
right.
Because how many guys, maybe if you looked at over the years, that people said, well, they laughed at them. Or they said, what? That's the dumbest thing they ever seen. And then they were doing something that the other people didn't quite understand what they were doing until they got it figured out, and then everybody was chasing him, you know?
Well, see, that's just like whenever he started racing, and I was still racing there. We had two cars in the same stable. Well, he was actually helping me because he was driving with the steering wheel, and I had bad habits.
Okay.
And it actually helped me get better what I was doing. from
Yeah.
what we
So
was
yeah,
doing.
yeah, and I'm sure you probably got some feedback there from him.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot to be said for that. Then you see why lots of times the two-car teams you could afford, they'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Well, I'd like to have someone come along and throw some serious money at one.
Right? There you go. Tom, I tell you, would you drive it again, Tom?
No, I don't think. I don't know.
Nah, see, I think you would, Tom, because it started out, no, I don't know.
I wouldn't mind going out in one practice or something.
Yeah, okay, and then the next thing we'd have you in a heat race.
And then you gotta say, I got to stay away from it.
Yeah, well, I tell you, you got a lot of laps, Tom, you ran. You got a lot. Speaking of that, Tom, we look at that 43A, the Kleindesk machine. You're on I'm going to call it a damn honorable list of people that's ran that car, because that Kleindesk car's been turning laps
Oh,
for a
yeah.
lot of damn years.
Yeah, I
into
feel
the
very
60s.
privileged to be able to run for Barry and Brian. Brian was the main man there then, but we had a lot of good races.
Yeah.
Yep. Good times.
A lot of good times.
We
And
had
a lot of
times.
wins in that car.
Yep.
A lot of good times. And buddy, she carried the old Red Wing shoes on the
Yep,
side of her.
yep,
You know what
yep.
I'm saying? I used to tell Fred in the stands, I think, son of a bitch. man, these guys ought to be running fast. They got Red Wing shoes on the door as a sponsor.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But obviously, it was an individual store. I get it now.
Right.
You know what I mean? It wasn't like the main corporation right at the main thing. You know, but no, you had a lot of good times there running. And we mostly mentioned that 50E. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I won a lot of races for him there. I won 14 that year with
14 races, ladies and gentlemen,
Rick
in Super
Mas-
Lake Mall.
with
Yeah, there you go.
Rick
And
Mascherino.
there was just as many heavy hitters
Oh
back
yeah,
then.
yeah. Well, I've always liked the 80s and the 90s of the racing there. I think that was probably the
That's right, the 80s and 90s, buddy. I'd like that.
the heyday of racing. I call it. You know.
I guarantee you.
Maybe not. You know, some people
No,
don't look
I'm
at
going
that
to
way.
side with you on that, Tommy Myers. I always say that. For me, it was the late 80s up through them 90s, especially them mid-90s.
I mean, whenever I raced and you went to, it didn't matter where you went, Hagerstown, Bedford, anywhere. I mean, there was a consolation every.
That's what we said.
you
The
had-
B-Main might be the best race of the night for the fans because there was some heavy foots
Oh,
in
yeah,
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you race against guys to the like of Rodney Franklin,
Oh, yeah.
Nathan Durbrow, Denny. Okay,
Oh,
I mean
yeah.
we could go on and on. I mean you've raced obviously. You caught into that era
Yep.
where you were. Correct me if I'm wrong, and the T-shirt won't lie. The young gun, the young guns. I haven't said this in a while. You ready? I haven't said it in a while. You know it's coming. Oh, I guarantee you. The old PA Plowboys. You remember that? I haven't said that in a while. I haven't. I don't know why. I got so much damn stuff to say all the time, I forget. But the PA Plowboys. And I'm going to tell you, that was probably a fun time in your life, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, you make me think of something like that. One of your races that you win, it was the Ronnie McBee Memorial, either that or Johnny Roberts at Hagerstown that we won. And when you growing up as a kid, you know, seeing Rodney Franklin and Gary Stuhler
Yeah.
and them guys and winning
Gary
all them
Stuhler,
races, and you're running through the stands, and then you finally get the chance to run. And, you know, one night I was running third, and them two were leading, and I rolled them on the top and beat the pair of them. You know, that's actually to me was better than winning a Lucas Oil race because you beat
Oh, yeah.
two of the best in the country, as far as I'm concerned. Because
100%.
when them outer towners come to town, normally they got their ass handed to them.
Yeah, they did. I'm going to be honest. Back then, it was a higher percentage of getting their ass handed to them
Yeah.
than there is now. Nothing against the guys now, but there was a higher percentage that a true local was going to be in that top three somewhere around there. Oh, yeah.
So-
I mean, that's what I say. Like back in the racing, it was like for me, like in '82, I worked over at McBee's, and he had a custom car, Frank's Custom from down south
Yep.
there, and that was a real
That was the thing.
that was a really good car. And he broke his finger, and he asked me about running that race car. And I told him, I said I didn't want to run his car because I was afraid of tearing it up. And so I went home, you know, I was working for him. I
Yeah.
was telling Dad about it, and he said, "Man," he said, "you ought to run that thing." I said, "I don't know about that." So next day I went back over, and well, Bob was over working too because he was laid off from Groves. And I told him, I said, "Jimmy," I said, "I thought about it a little bit." I said, I'll run that car for you." So the first night I run it, it was the best thing I ever sat in because we've always built our own stuff.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, build our own motors.
This thing was sleek,
oh,
custom.
yeah, I had top of the line.
Yeah.
So the first night I run second to Jeff Robinson at Williams Grove. He was thrown out at Lincoln. He was barred from Lincoln.
Oh, they do that too. They do a lot of that nowadays too. A lot of the tracks.
So we went to the boys that he had helping there. We went to Lincoln, and in the warm-ups there, I jumped on the gas, and the fifth arm come up through and tore the bracket out and all
Yeah.
that stuff there, and spit the shocks out on the racetrack. So back again, here was back to the day we knowed our measurements. You know,
yeah,
worked
you
on
put
them.
it back.
Put that car back together. They had a Johnny Roberts Memorial there, and they also that was a 50 lapper, but they had the Joey Chitwood show there. That's the only thing that helped
The
me.
Joey Chitwood. Freddie. Oh, yeah, watch. He gets all wild. Joey Chitwood. Like that. Damn Joey Chitwood.
So anyhow, they left me start on the rear of the field, and it's probably my most memorable race that I ever won.
And you're in McBee's car.
I'm in McBee's car. I was lucky enough to win that night, but I started last, And I got up to about 7th or 8th, and Ronnie Franklin was leading, or not Ronnie, Ronnie McBeat was leading. And Nathan Durbrow, I seen him standing in the corner there. They was always good friends, which
Right.
we all were. But
The old fat cats. God rest his soul.
yes, him and Ronnie were tight. And I seen him standing, leaning over the guardrails, and he was going to number 11. He said he's on the bottom.
Right.
We kept running around, and I thought, man, I bet Ronnie's going to run in here and choke us down here on the bottom. Well, I just rolled in there and rolled on the top. When I come off the backstretch, I was leading.
Yeah, there you go.
Went on, I won. I lapped him clear up to the, I think it was like the 7th place guy. I won that race for him. So then we went up to Sealings Grove, and they had another 50 lapper up there, like a Dan Sheetman Memorial or
Yeah.
something. And I set a 25 lap or a 10 lap track record that I held for 25 years.
Yeah, you did. Okay.
And I
just
won
broke
that.
it.
I won
Yeah.
that race there, and then we come to. He left me bring it to Hagerstown, and I was coming to the front down there. I got to 3rd, and I spit the axle out through the little cap on the drive flange
Yeah.
there, and I didn't get to finish that race. So the next race we was going to go to was out to Motordrome 70. There was a big race out there. And me and Bob, we were loading him up there, and he throwed his suit in the truck that night. I told Bob, I said, I'm done.
Oh, that was it. That had enough.
I said, he ain't going to let me run no more.
No, check her out. She's done. Okay, I got you. Okay.
So that was, I mean, I wish then I could have, I had the money, I mean, I was running a store-bought motor. I never run nothing like that. I mean,
Right.
my dad used to get down here to miners, and we often talk about it. He'd walk in there carrying pistons and stuff in a bucket.
Right? Drop them off. Yeah.
We build our own motors and stuff,
Yeah,
So-
exactly. Man, see, this is the good stuff. And,
Yeah, that's how I got hooked up with Curtis Hershey.
Yeah.
We were building our own motors when I started, and my pop said about, I didn't even know Kurt. He said, this guy back here, he does machine work. He said, let's take some of this stuff back, see what he thinks. And we walked in there. We had 2 5-gallon buckets. There was rods in one bucket, pistons in another bucket. We had 6 of one, 2 of another. I don't remember. And Curtis looked at me, and I never met the man a day in my life. I said, please don't let this man put this together. I said, because all we keep doing is blowing it up.
Right? Okay.
And I got we changed some things there, and Curtis worked with me, and that's how I got that relationship. And we built a 408, and the first 3 years we run that motor, it was the best thing we've ever had. And the relationship with Curtis took off from there. And we paid our bill. We had bills there. I mean, nothing was free, but he helped me out and on product sponsors and stuff. And that's where that really helped my racing career over the years with what we got to do.
Yeah. Oh,
So-
so you credit Curtis Hershey.
Oh, tremendously,
with,
yes.
Tremendous.
For-
That was a
for-
pivotal time right
For
there.
our motor program, for
definitely.
me.
Yeah. But like you said, you guys were running store-bought stuff. You were piecing things together, a little this, little that, you know what I'm saying? But that was your official, for the first time, engine builder.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And obviously, God rest his soul.
Correct.
You know? And they're still operating, correct? Okay. And you still run there?
We still have Joey do certain machine work or stuff to our car. He's doing our work to our motors now. We're back doing that. He does the heads in the intake, and we got another boy that does the heads.
Just trying to save some money.
Yeah.
But we have Joey and them put them together.
Okay, okay. So, yeah, I mean, just think about it here. With these TRW race cars, okay, I don't know why I keep looking back there, and she has her fingers in her ears. And I tend to believe that she probably, she doesn't want to hear what I have to say.
No, so she can hear you
I'm
better.
just teasing. I know. Look at her. She's laughing at you, right? Fred, was everything good up there? Everybody can hear, everybody's happy? Okay, once again, we're going to take 3 seconds for station identification. Okay? That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just tuning in, this is episode number 69. Elvis Up Dirt Productions, a House of Dirt. I'm Tommy Cordell. I'm here with Tommy Myers and DJ Myers. They're on the set right now, and we're in the back half talking about a lot of stuff, right? A lot of memories, a lot about what you're doing here with TRW race cars. And, obviously, things are starting to get serious. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. and like we was there earlier, like there's a lot of people involved in this. I'm not going to sit here and take all the credit. Just like my father and Bob and all of them I mentioned, and even like Colby Fry, for an example, shooting the shit with him one day, and I told him what I thought I was going to do, and he's like, "Go for it." What do you got to lose?
Right.
Same way with Randy and Ricky down at PPM. I talk to them regularly. My whole racing career, they've been a tremendous help.
PPM's been on your race car a long time.
Yes, and we
Yeah.
had their cars. And when you was talking earlier about having something different, like he said, I give Steve Baker credit for one night we was out roaring knob and we won the King of the Knob. Like he said, there was 23 cars started. We was the only oddball, and we ended up winning that night. And he come up and shook my hand. He said, "You're doing something good there."
Yeah.
For being a chassis
Steve
builder.
Baker.
Yes, for
Rocket
what.
chassis, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
That's the other half. I think lots of times he goes shadowed.
Yeah, but,
Okay, but-
there's a lot of credit there to Steve
Correct.
for
Yeah.
what that business is to me.
Oh, 100%. I mean, if you truly read the story of Rocket Chassis and how things went down, yeah, both of them boys
But then,
had their things.
Then we was taking something that we wanted to be different and do
Yeah.
it. And they were some of my best racing for good times of working with somebody else, and he'll agree, I think. We just did what we wanted, and the boys down the road were okay with that.
Yeah.
If we wanted to cut a bar out or put a bracket on it with their car, they didn't care, and that's what we did. And that made us better, and you keep learning. And there's things over the years, and he laughs at me. Now we all do it. Now we're all over on the right front, and we're down, going one night at the Grove. We crashed, bent a shock, took a spring off. Instead of putting a 12-inch spring on, the boy grabbed a 10-inch spring, because I wanted to go a little lighter. Didn't know what we were doing. I'm talking 20 years ago. The collar was set, everything was right. I rolled out on the racetrack, my car's dragging, I'm laid over on the right front, started last in the Concy and won it. Come back in, that ain't right. Changed it back, but look at us today. We're doing that,
Yeah, well, there you go. Exactly. Right. That makes sense.
You learn by your mistakes, so that's what you try
So
to take.
I did, clearly. You can ask Fred. Fred and I had all sorts of body panel tools because I was beating them out. You know what I mean? I was beating them out. I can remember your dad walked in Path Valley. This is probably like the last year I think I raced. Like Ronnie Hess was with you, okay, and maybe Bobby. I think he was. And you got I'm underneath there, click, 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 on these shots. Man, I go the right way. Did he say 6 clicks or 4? You know what I'm saying? But your dad always says, well, what's the measurement on that radius rod there if you're going to move it? I said, I'll have to go get the book on that. Like that. But no, they're the things right there is what you're saying. I should have known my race car
Right.
better
Yes.
than that.
Yes.
Okay, and I should, and that's a lot of. How about this? And you hear this, and I'm sure you guys agree that races are won in the garage. If you have any kind of talent as a race car driver, that's a given. Okay, races then are won in the garage because you have a race car that you can race.
Right.
Okay, that don't apply to moi. Okay, like that. We worked in the garage, but all we did, we beating out stuff, you know what I mean? But no, we didn't understand in the finesse setup enough. We knew enough to be dangerous, okay?
That's a good thing.
Yeah, well, you're right, but then you gotta. We ain't gonna get off on a tangent. We're just gonna skip that whole thing. It was a good thing, but the bottom line is, yeah, guys have to know their race cars. Somebody better know their damn race car that's there, and preferably the driver. You see a lot of that nowadays where there's not some teams, when you talk past regionally and out, they have that guy. That driver really don't have to, he gets in it.
Well,
That's it. For the most part, he gets in it and drives it.
yes,
you know?
and that's what I'm saying here about these shock guys and all this stuff here. There's so many racers out there that's just so dependent on that fella. I mean, they'll have to call him, and they don't want to do nothing.
Well, they got him on speed dial.
They don't want to do nothing.
yeah.
yeah.
And we have been at their mercy at times,
Yeah,
and,
sure.
and still are a little bit.
Yeah,
I'm a little out on that, and he's the one who's going to learn.
I'm getting
learning
better
that
on
there.
that.
That's not something you pick up overnight.
Right.
Right.
It's truly not. And I think that's what's hard is maybe a lot of younger racers. Let's just back this down a little bit. You're getting old. You know what I mean? I'm old. But let's cut your age in half. And that young man,
Right.
is racing. Okay? So you tell him he to get a set of feed scales, and he looks at you like you have 3 heads. Okay, but he understands, and he picks up kind of from that shock thing going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes, the younger generation has, and that's just like my boy was school and welding, and we just had this discussion this week of, learn what you can learn, and, with TIGGing and CNC machines and all that stuff, and the computer end of it. See, I missed out on all that, the
Right.
computer end of it.
We just didn't
So
pay
even
attention.
well,
Okay, let's be honest. Okay.
it was just coming around when we were there.
Right, I know, but
even
yeah.
the shock thing, the computer end of
Yeah.
it, the technology
Oh,
of
yeah.
it. Certain people pick it right up, and some people never do, and that's a struggle for me. But
But you're learning it.
We're
You're
way
working
better
on
than
it.
what we were 10 years ago.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, even we got quick. All joking aside, even we got quicker a little bit with it. I knew what to click, 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 click. I just couldn't drive the damn thing. But I understand. I was starting to make a little sense.
Right.
Repetition, right? And we did. We spent a lot of time in here messing with stuff. And you're right. You try to pick things up. You keep a notebook, right? The old word, the notebook. Okay. A lot of the younger people got it on their phone. You know what I mean? But we don't want to. That's what we don't want to lose out of this whole deal, in my opinion, is the ingenuity and the being able to work on your car. Because correct me if I'm wrong, and you can, because there's 50 million viewers right here right now. I got to be honest. Okay, that's right. That's right. But TRW race cars, okay, is meant, truthfully, for that blue collar kind of race car driver that works 40 whatever hours a week and wants to race on the weekend, and if he does it twice, good for him. But that's kind of like the audience you're looking at right there.
Yeah, I mean, we just sort of have to step into this slowly, because I'm getting older, Bob's getting older, and he's getting ready. He'll have to take.
I'm
like,
tired of crawling over roofs. I got to do something else.
I got a grandson
Building.
sitting back here. If this, he talked about it before. If this is what he wants to do, it's going to start out. The pay probably won't be the best,
Right.
But down the road, it's hard to tell what this could turn into.
Oh, I 100% agree. And I think the foundation, I mean, let's face it, you got a house car.
Yep.
You only got to have a house car, okay? And you need to be in it right now, obviously. You talked about releasing that person when the time comes.
Yeah.
That's obviously going to give. They're good. They're good up and they're going to, and they're a little younger too.
Yes,
They're going to give you
and-
some feedback.
Yes.
Correct.
And you're going to get feedback off of it.
Yeah.
So that's smart. You always got to be R&D ahead with your stuff, because I'm sure you guys will probably fine tune some things as things go on too to make it better. That's what it's all about, you know.
That's why I love a cutting torch and a welder.
Well, yeah, right. Well, cutting torches and welders, you can't go wrong, Tom Myers. You can't go wrong. I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, man, we could probably have a 4-hour discussion. You guys want to sit here for 5-6 hours, Bob? We can sit here that long if you want. We'll sit here and have this discussion all night,
Yeah.
Hey, I just sitting here listening to Tom and DJ with this TRW. I tell you, this is a classic example of American engineering.
Yeah, I agree.
A little bit of this, a little bit of that, some new, some old, and you blend it together, and you got a product.
Yeah, that's what Freddie's saying. You take a little of the old, a little of the new, you bring it together, you got a product.
And that's one of the things I try to tell the racers that walk up and talk to me. Don't be afraid to work on your race car, boys. I mean, even if you think it's not right, do something, because you just can't go out there and be in that rut week after week.
Well, yeah, I mean,
And
there's
go
no,
home and not do nothing. At that
Well,
night
right,
at the
you keep
racetrack,
doing the same thing.
afraid to do something, and then go home and say, "I wish I did."
Yeah, I mean, what's Einstein? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing more than once and getting the same result. Something like that. But what he's saying is you keep doing the same thing and getting the same result. That's
Right.
insanity.
Right.
You know?
Yes.
And you see that, and you see a lot of guys, and we're talking about upper level. Well, you can talk about any race class, but for now, we're talking about late models and up. And because they take, obviously, a lot of going on. You know what I mean? There's a lot going on. Them sprint car people, you know what I'm saying? They're crazy. They just got a couple shocks around there. You know what I mean? They don't got all that craziness going on. You know, they do say that. You know, them guys look at them late models. I mean, they look at them things and they're like, this thing's from like outer space. You know, because it has more adjustments on it than you can imagine.
Oh, yeah.
Just think of that over the year. You've seen it. the increase in adjustments and things that you can do to these cars, you know. But on the other hand, it's taken a lot of the everyday racer, you know. And you guys started, I think it's fair to say, as the everyday racer, you know. And you were able to branch out in your time, and you were able to branch out in your time, and do some pretty big things, So you've seen both ends of it, okay? You've had relationships with people at all ends, okay?
Well, I'd like to say one more thing here before we get done this evening. I was at a lot of shops, Manuel Chavakas, Rayburn's, Callahan's, just about all of them, down at Custom. But probably the smartest innovator that I've ever seen that taught me more than anybody was our hometown boy, Gerald Chamberlain.
There you have it. Gerald Chamberlain, ladies and gentlemen.
I mean, laying all jokes aside, he was quite an innovator on building lake models and modifieds. I mean,
Him and Gus.
him and Gus Farrow. I mean, they was two
Yeah.
that really.
You kind of could put him up there maybe in that Weld era in them sprint cars. Because he was innovating at that end. He was doing stuff that people thought was crazy. He did do things that people thought was crazy at the end.
He did stuff that you know, making traction devices out of had four-wheel drive truck leaf springs bolted to the bottom of the quick changes and stuff. I mean, I've seen a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And he won a lot of races.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
He's way over 1,000.
Yeah, oh yeah, Gerald Chamberlain's esteemed. I mean,
Yeah.
he's accomplished everything.
Yes.
You know, and you credit him to learning a lot out
I give, like I say, I met them all, talked to them all. But
that guy right there, Gerald Chamberlain, ain't that good?
He's number one for me.
Yeah, I think, I got a picture of him up there? Oh, no, I don't think I do. I think at one time I did, an older picture of Chamberlain up there. Yeah. See, they fall down, Tom, because it's a block wall. And instead of us taking the time to get Tapcon screws and drill the damn joints and all that stuff out, we tape them.
Well,
and you know what? It's a pain. Okay, maybe you're a carpenter. Okay, what I always call him, Junior. I always say Junior like that. I said, you ought to come down here and run me some boards across there, and then I can thumbtack them up. You see what I mean?
You're doing okay in here.
Yeah, this is okay. It is what it is, right? It is what it is. Well, I tell you guys, you had a good secret there. I tell you guys must have took an oath when you were fabricating this out, because obviously it was, only so many people knew.
Right.
You know what I mean? And now I think a lot of people know, and they're very interested. Okay, you've had success with this car. Some seconds, a fifth, a win.
Yeah.
Okay. You had a good weekend this past weekend.
Yep.
And you can't complain about that at all. You know.
No.
And you did it in TRW fashion.
That's right.
That's right. And now, if those who are interested, obviously, know how to reach out, they can get a hold of you via Facebook.
Yeah.
You'll get your number out there. If they want to
Yeah.
get with you. Obviously, we're getting through into the halfway point here soon of the season. Okay, and then we're in the back half, and pretty soon we'll be into hunting. But cooler weather. But guys' minds start turning.
Correct.
Guys' minds starts turning, and quite frankly, I think you're going to be getting fielded all the time with a lot of questions. And that's good, because you're going to build your program. Okay, you build your program, and I like your philosophy on the program. This show is built on a pillar of blue-collar racing. We do discuss sometimes people that are out nationally that they come this way. Why wouldn't we? But our show is about blue-collar racing. And I hate that some people are afraid to call it that, okay? Because, quite frankly, there's a lot more racers that don't make no paycheck on their food on their table doing what we do and doing what you do, okay? Some do, but there's more that don't, okay? So there's a lot to be said for what you're trying to accomplish with your product that meets the needs. Like I said, and you can change it, it's safe, affordable, and competitive. That's what I thought of when I sat down and thought about what you had told me about this car before this show, and we obviously got partnered with advertisement. And just from what I know of you guys, you know what I mean? And believe it or not, I learned a few things when I brought that street stock up there. Now, it didn't do much on the track for me because that was me, But no, I learned a lot. But I think if you can put those two pieces together, the past and the present, okay, and the technology, because they're both got technology, bring them together and harness it for a good price, affordable, safe, you got yourself a thing going. And I like that.
Well, that's like when we went and built the PPM car. We went down with them boys, and when we built that car, when we come up here, we couldn't get on the phone and call no one for nothing. We had to, it was our deal. I mean, we had to figure it out ourselves.
Right.
What you end up winning, like
38 races.
38
with them guys.
races with
You
that.
won 38 races
with
with
a PPM car.
a PPM car.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, that's, and
Well, that's saying something.
well, yeah, I mean, we was the only one out there with one.
Correct.
You
Yeah,
know.
it ain't like you getting. You
They
have
had-
people
they had-
to talk to.
And
that
that's
are
what
on
this car is based off of. We done went back that we backed up that far,
them. Yeah.
to that. Everyone else, there's a lot of other guys will, tell you, well, it's a copy of this or it's a copy of that. No, it's actually a copy of, of our PPM car is what it is.
Okay. With a little here, a little there that
Right.
you've obviously tweaked
Newer
it.
technology to
Yeah,
it.
I got you. To make it suitable fit
Yes.
into
Yes.
play nowadays.
Yep.
Well, guys, it's always a pleasure spending time. I mean, we could bench races, they call it, for hours. And I think sometimes in the winter, that's a fun thing to do, is
Oh,
come up
yeah.
and shoot the breeze, because there's so much history. People don't realize the amount of history in dirt late model stock cars here. It's not just the sprint cars down in the sprint
Oh,
car
no.
world area, but there's a lot of stock car history right here. A lot of innovation. You've been a part of it. Now you're obviously a part of it together, and I think it's a wonderful thing. Fred, is everything good up there?
Yep,
We didn't blow nothing up? Okay, good. So, having said that, I think it's something we ought to do again sometime.
Well, I'll
And-
come
and-
back again, talk
yeah,
to you.
And we can. There's so much we could talk about. I enjoyed having you folks on, and I know the people enjoyed having you on here. Elbows Up Style, House of Dirt, episode 69. Tom Myers, DJ Myers, and we wish you the best of luck in this endeavor. And we're honored to be a part of doing what we do. For a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And we wish you the best of luck racing. I know this weekend you're taking a little off time.
We're off this weekend.
You're
yeah.
off this weekend. Okay. So we'll see you at the track soon. Tom, we'll see you soon. I'm sure of it. And ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you supporting Elbows Up Dirt Productions and the House of Dirt and every damn thing we do. Look for us here. We're going to be all over the place. That's right, all over the place. And support your local racetracks. Get out there this weekend. There's a lot of good racing. And we'll see you here real soon. Take care.